Mom, can you help me?
Well, good evening, everybody. I didn't expect to do this, but of course, I didn't know that the R. Kelly verdict was going to come down. I should have thought ahead of it, but let's do a little. This isn't really a late night Nate, but I want to talk about this. So, if you haven't heard, R. Kelly was found guilty on all charges. He faces life. I'll say it again. He faces LIFE, life in prison. And I want to get your reaction to it. There's a lot of chatter about this on the internet right now. I want to know what you think. I want to know what black people think. I want to know what fans of R. Kelly think. There's so many questions. I don't even know where to start. Let's start here at the top. Do you think that R. Kelly deserved what he got? Do you think that R. Kelly is the victim of a conspiracy? And I've heard and read online, there's a lot of, conspiracies about what the motivation might be. Do you think that when the victims of abuse are young black girls, and they're accusing powerful men, do you think that our culture tends to turn its back? What do you think this evening? I want to get your thoughts at 513-873-7134. Tell all your friends, tell your cousins and them, tell your nieces and nephews, tell everybody that Nathan Ivy is online and we're talking about the R. Kelly verdict, guilty on all charges. Do you know what the government's argument is? Some might find it to be very, very interesting, the approach that the prosecution took. I mean, essentially, they came at him like he was a mobster, like he was at the head of a vast criminal enterprise that was trafficking in underage girls and boys. Does it surprise you to know that all of the alleged victims, as I understand it, are black? Does that matter to you? I want to talk about it at 513-873-7134. Good evening. I know you just saw me. You're probably sick to death of me. We spent a few hours this morning talking about things that are interesting, but I want to talk about this right here, right now. I want to talk about what's happening with R. Kelly, and I want to give you the up-to-the-date information, news, and views, and I want to give you a sense of what Black America is saying as well. The charges on R. Kelly included racketeering, sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, sexual exploitation of a child, and violation of the Mann Act, which is a federal law that criminalizes the transportation of any woman or girl for the purposes of prostitution or debauchery or for any other immoral purpose. That's where R. Kelly has been found guilty on all charges. On all charges. And I'm not sure how much of this trial you was watching, man. I'm not going to hear and lie to you and tell you I watched it wall to wall, because I did not. I tapped in from here to there, and every time I did, it looked bad for bro. Buddy is on his way to jail. He's on his way to jail. How many people feel like, we went through this with a high-profile black man already, though. It was just a few years ago, right? It was Bill Cosby, and we see how that ended. He ended up getting out of jail because of essentially technicalities. It had nothing to do with his guilt or innocence of the charges. It was the prosecution didn't do everything by the letter of the law. We've had these conversations. I refer to Bill Cosby as Pill Cosby, period. That tells you how I feel about it. And I came to you many years ago, and again, maybe a few months ago, and I told you that real men don't listen to R. Kelly. Real men don't contribute to a pedophile culture. Real men don't do that. I stopped listening to R. Kelly long time ago. Every man has a standard. Every man is different. That's my standard. I just can't roll like that. You know what I'm saying? Even before I had a daughter, I stopped listening to R. Kelly because I can't contribute on any way. to a rape culture. Would it surprise you to know that as we speak right now, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of R. Kelly fans are downloading and streaming his music via streaming services. And I guess this is sort of like their protest against what's happening with the charges. And what's up with our community in particular? What's up with Black folks? Why is it that some Black folks always side with predators? Why is that? Or what's behind that? Again, I don't want to point you too many fingers at anybody. I want to get your honest thoughts about it. I don't want to know what you think, but I want to get your thoughts about what's going on right now and give you a sense of what the deal is. I was watching a YouTube channel and they talk with a woman who was the co-founder of Mute R. Kelly. And she said that for some time now, she's been traveling with bodyguards. She receiving death threats and serious threats to for people to do great bodily harm to her because she stood up to R. Kelly. And I'm like, what in the hell? What? But you know, I've heard the craziest things. Nothing surprises me anymore. I'm not surprised by anything these days. I've heard the absolute craziest things. So when I hear people that's like in the bag for pedophiles, whether it be Bill Cosby or R. Kelly, that ish don't surprise me. That ish don't surprise me. Hey, do me a favor and like, and in particular, share this stream so people know that we're on and they can tap in if they want to. But what do you think about the charges? Guilty on all charges as you understand it. And I completely acknowledge that we probably have different levels of understanding. Not everybody was tapped in wall to wall. Some probably were not catching highlights. But again, R. Kelly, R&B singer, Mr. 12 play, Mr. I Believe I Can Fly, all that Step in the Name of Love, convicted on all charges in his federal sexual assault case. And it just happened earlier today. He's now facing life in prison. Wow. A world where R. Kelly is behind bars for the rest of his life. What do you think? Again, charges included. I want to read this again. Racketeering. I mean, the government's case was this. It was a criminal enterprise using his associates, his bodyguards, and all the people that work with him to traffic for his prurient and sexual desires, underage people in general. So charges included racketeering. The charges included racketeering, sex trafficking, kidnapping. Hold on one second. Bribery, sexual exploitation of a child, and violation of the Mann Act. Looks like we got an early call. Let's take it. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Oh, well, good evening, shall I say. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Here's a quote from Jacquelyn, from the U.S. Attorney, Jacquelyn Kasulis. She said this just moments ago at a press conference. Quote, today's guilty verdict forever brands predator who used his fame and fortune to prey on the young, the vulnerable, and the voiceless for his own sexual gratification, a predator who used his inner circle to ensnare underage girls and young men and women for decades in a sordid web of sex abuse, exploitation, and humiliation. Quote, to the victims in this case, your voices were heard and justice was finally served. Do you believe that justice was finally served? I'm very interested in your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts about it. Again, not everybody was plugged in, so you may not have got all the details, and I'm not here to front and act like I got all the details, but I did tap in, and I got a good understanding of things that went down. All I say is, Buddy, man, Buddy was in some different stuff, and for me, I separated. If you're a grown person and you decide that you want to be a gimp, or you want to be a bottom, or whatever the term is, to R. Kelly and live with him and do his bidding, cool. Just like if you decide as a grown person you want to go be a prostitute at the Bunny Ranch in Nevada, go right ahead. You're grown. I got no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? If you want R. Kelly to smear feces all over you and do whatever, he likes this and you like that, and he's paying the rent for you, and that's what you want to do, you go right ahead and do that. I got no problem with it. Do you? The line for me is when we start talking about rape and when we start talking about the exploitation of underage people. That's where the line is drawn for me. Like I told you, I got off the R. Kelly kick a long time ago. I'll say it again. Real men don't listen to R. Kelly. All this music out here, you ain't got to listen to that trash. I don't listen to pedophile music. I don't promote the rape culture. I don't do that. I stand for something a little different. And that's just me because of my belief system. You might be bumping R. Kelly right now. Go on with your bad self. Oh, you listen to R. Kelly, you go right ahead and do you, bro. Buddy, you do right. You do that. You do that. Brandy writes guilty. Wanda writes, he's guilty, but the parents are too. Yeah, but the parents weren't on trial. Only R. Kelly was. Priscilla writes, well, I feel for him. You feel for R. Kelly. Okay. Maxine writes, I'm not surprised at all. TNT's in the house. She writes, I don't see nothing wrong with R. Kelly doing a lot of time. She got jokes. I don't see nothing wrong with R. Kelly doing a lot of time. I'm trying to find the harmony there. You are hilarious for that. That's hilarious. Wanda writes, I am a fan. I think the Catholic priest should too. See, people are already doing this. They're talking about the Catholic priest. The Catholic priest is a whole separate issue. They're talking about the parents. The parents is a whole other conversation. Okay. I mean, say what you want to say, but it's interesting how we, and I don't think people are doing this purposely. I just think it's a natural human thing on some levels, but people want to bring up other things. Well, the parents was complicit. Well, maybe they go on trial next. Until then, R. Kelly's ass is done facing life. And as I said, if all of the allegations about underage abuse is true, that's exactly where the hell he deserves. I hope he burns in hell too. I don't have no sympathy for pedophiles whatsoever. I hope the boys up there catch up with his ass and teach him a lesson. He gets what he gets. I don't have no sympathy for you. None whatsoever. I'm supposed to sympathize with a pedophile. I don't sympathize with pedophiles. I don't do that. You out here preying on people. Whatever happens to you, buddy. Simple as that. That's just me. You might look at it differently, but that's how I feel about it. Hey, Naisha, she's in the house. She writes, I wouldn't be surprised if the man tried to commit suicide, but right is right. That's on him. That's his life. Ashley writes, I totally agree. The parents did nothing to protect them. Maxine writes, from what I've heard in the history of his behavior, he is so guilty. Now, just because you found guilty don't mean you guilty, especially when you black in the American courts. And that kind of muddies the water at this, right? Because black people have a righteous and completely valid suspicion about the so-called American judicial system. It is completely valid for us to be suspicious because in this country, no matter what your race is, but especially if you're black, you don't have to have committed a crime to get the electric chair. In this country, it can happen to anybody, but especially Reuben Hurricane Carter. But especially if you're black, your ass can be on death row for 30, 40 years before you're exonerated. We find out people are exonerated every month. So that muddies the water whenever there's a high-profile black person. And then the other thing that further muddies the water for black folks is COINTELPRO. It's the targeting of black leaders, entertainment leaders, political leaders, civic leaders, because the FBI or the government is afraid they might cause a revolution, right? So we already know that high-profile black men have been targeted and will continue to be targeted, right? So that muddies the waters, right? That makes us think about things a little differently. I want to put it on the table because I fully acknowledge it. We got every reason to be, okay? But let's put this right here. But then also let's talk about R. Kelly. And I want to get your honest thoughts about what you think went down. Did he get what he get? Or is he the victim of some vast conspiracy? I've been online. There's all kind of conspiracies. I mean, we got another one of these media conspiracies. They was out to get him because he was trying to do big things in the music industry. Oh boy. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Naisha writes, it sickens me that black people are against this. Hashtag protect black women. Yeah, as I said, right now, you got thousands of people, if not tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people that are staging their own form of protest by streaming R. Kelly's music. And that's their right. That's their right. What do you think about that? That's their right. But to me, in my observation, we talk all this shit. I want to talk real to grown folks. We talk all this shit about how missing black girls don't get the same type and level of visibility as other people, right? We talk all this ish. We talk all this ish. But hell, even within the black community, missing to get ignored by the black community, especially when you got a black girl or black woman that accuses a powerful man. Like when a black girl or black woman accuses a powerful or popular black man, it's like a damn reflex with some people. They automatically assume and take the defense of the man. And I don't know what it's like pathological, right? It's like people don't even think about it. They just automatically react to it. And all it does is contribute to what they call the rape culture, which is real inside the black community as well. It's real. So all these people, they don't, when black girls go missing, they don't get the same visibility. Well, hell, when black girls, they don't even have to be missing. They can show up in the courtroom. And if they accuse a powerful black man, some black people will automatically choose the side of the powerful black man. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Because you can't. Because you know I speak the truth. It's a damn shame. I don't cape for creeps. I don't cape for creeps and I don't cape for predators. Period. If you're a creep or a predator, you get what you get. Love for you. I ain't sitting around holding your hand. We ain't gonna be friends. We not gonna work it out. I don't want to hear about mitigating circumstances. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. Simple as that. And these are, in some cases, I can imagine these might even be people that like have children. They might have children. Well, how you gonna have a daughter and cape for a predator? What kind of self-respecting black father has a daughter in this world and you out here talking about free Bill Cosby? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. So from where I sit, R. Kelly is getting exactly what he deserves. And like I said, I hope the boys catch up with him on the yard and kick his ass. That's what I hope happens to him. That's what he deserves, period. And hopefully you're sending a message to the next big time celebrity. You think you above the law. And see, the thing about it is, for years and years and years, abuse against black girls goes unreported. It goes unacknowledged. The police don't move as fast when it's a missing black girl, when it's a black woman or a black girl. They don't move as fast. And I wonder if R. Kelly thought that this was going to work in his favor. Maybe that's the reason why he got away with it for so damn long, until social media caught up with him, man. People start putting out all these documentaries, Surviving R. Kelly, bringing more and more attention to it. The Twitter, internet, TikTok, everybody just talking about it. And so we are where we are. I don't have no, if in fact, and again, I'm not in the courtroom, that's why I preface things. If in fact all of these allegations are true, F them. And F anybody like them. And period. Like I said, I hope he burn in hell. Simple as that. I don't have no some remorse. I'm supposed to be sympathizing with this month. I don't have no sympathy for you. We not the same. We ain't the same. I don't identify with that. You know what I'm saying? I got a 16-year-old upstairs. That could have been my daughter. Could have been your daughter. I'm supposed to sit back and think, oh, they after R. Kelly because he made $1 million with I Believe I Can Fly. I don't believe none of that. Because like I said, ain't nobody said it about Jamie Foxx. You know he wild as hell in Hollywood. Ain't nobody said it about Bokeem Woodbine. Ain't nobody said it about all these brothers in there. Ain't nobody said about Idris Elba. So, has there been and will there continue to be a plot against powerful black men? Absolutely. You better believe it's true. We already know. It's well documented. It's well documented. But don't try to use that to cape for a creep. You know what I'm saying? They don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. Same with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby should be in jail right now, but he got on the technicality. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, one prosecutor said that if you testify openly in a civil trial, we won't go after you criminally. That prosecutor leaves office. A new prosecutor comes in and says, I don't care about your deal, and prosecutes him based upon, in some cases, his testimony in a civil trial. That don't mean he didn't do it. He did it. It just means he got on a technicality, which happens, especially for people who are wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Wealthy people get out of jail all the time on technicalities. That's why you pay for them big time lawyers. You know what I'm saying? $400, $500, $1,000 an hour, working full time for you while you in lockup. We should all be so damn lucky. But I want to get your thoughts about this, Five. What is your reaction? What is your reaction? Do you believe that R. Kelly is getting what he deserves? Is justice being served? Do you believe that he is the victim of a conspiracy? They out to get him because he's too powerful. He's too popular. He was going to come out with a 12 Play Part 2 and break the internet. And so a rival music company, I'm just making this dumb-ish as I go along, but a rival music company decided we got to stop him before he breaks the internet with new music. I mean, what's the conspiracy? I don't get it. I don't get it. And I've heard people say, and again, I respect this. If you're this kind of person, I have to respect it because that's your opinion. There's people say, well, I can separate the man from the music. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't listen to 12 Play ever again because now I know he's singing to underage girls. You know what I'm saying? Underage boys. You hear about what he did allegedly to this young boy? And it's not allegedly anymore. He did it, you know, per the court's decision. Guilty on all charges. I mean, they went after R. Kelly with some new-ish. they went after him with some new-ish. Wanda writes, makes me think that R. Kelly may get off on a technicality. Shaking my head. My God, so we just don't know. Wanda, you so right about that, Wanda. We just don't know. He could. The one thing about R. Kelly, if he got money, like I said, while he's in lockup, he's going to have big-time lawyers working on his behalf, looking for any technicality, there's definitely going to be an appeals. You already know that because that's what everybody do. They can catch you on video and mofo's going to put an appeal in. That's just, hey, let's take a shot. I don't know. We have to get the legal minds on that, the people that are trained to kind of look at the case and see if there's any holes in it. But again, I want to get your gut reaction. I want to talk to court of public opinion, black public opinion. I want to know what black folks think about this because largely, R. Kelly is for us. He's of us. His music was for us. They crossed over a little bit when, with the first Space Jam and all that. He definitely crossed over with that song. That song is very inspirational. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's the kind of song that gives you goosebumps. Very talented man, but let's say he was a victim of his own ego, I guess. He thought he was bigger than the law. Or maybe he thought, well, I'm just abusing black people, so who really cares? It's just black folks, so, well, no big deal. Keebler writes, preach. Angela writes, I'm not condoning his actions, but what about all the people that helped him? They all need to go down. I agree, but you start with the head, and maybe they'll work their way down. Nat writes, okay, then 2 shows today. Yeah, it had to. Floyd writes, R. Kelly in jail for pimping. Maybe. Monique writes, I agree with you 100%. Mildred writes, it usually is people with children caping, right? How you gonna have a child? I'm talking to black men out here. How you gonna be a black man with any self-respect? You got a daughter. You got a son because, and it's not allegedly, R. Kelly was convicted for abusing girls and boys. And the stuff that he was convicted for doing to this young boy can only be called horrific and sick. It can only be called horrific and sick. So how are you going to be a self-respecting black parent and cape for a criminal, to cape for a creep? I can't do it. I'm going to save my cape for the people that actually need it. Kamika writes, you preaching. Toys in the house, she writes, replying, pimping young girls. Right, that's Tay. Pimping young girls, that's right, Tay. Let me see. Maxine writes, I haven't yet heard that he did it because he is illiterate. Please, illiterate? What? I ain't heard that one. I don't think that's going to work. It didn't work. Angela writes, yep, he need to go to jail for this ish. He's a pedophile, period. Right. period. Because black girls are considered grown when they're just girls. They think we want it and deserve what we got. We can't be vulnerable. What a great point. It's the over sexualization of black women, right? Oh, she wanted it. She knew what she wanted. These young girls more than likely didn't want it. They probably was looking for love in all the right places. You know, maybe they wanted to get into the music business, right? He did break in Aaliyah. He did break in Aaliyah, right? So maybe they wanted to break into the music industry. Maybe they was looking for, you know, comfort in the arms of the wrong person. Happens every single day. Happens to grown women, let alone little girls. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good evening, comrade.
Welcome, Black Russia. What's up, man?
Yes, not too much. Hey, R. Kelly, you ain't gonna see that man for a long time. He gone. But you raised a good point though about the suspicion of whether or not black people get a fair shake. I think in R. Kelly's case, and I want to compare it to Bill Cosby, right? See, Bill Cosby cut a deal with the government. That's the only reason they knew what he did, and they try to use that against him. See, that was injustice right there. Whether he did it or not, he had to deal with the government, and they were supposed to honor that deal, but the prosecutors changed, and they wanted to be political about it. So, in that instance, yeah, people should be suspicious. But R. Kelly's situation is it's actually a lot different because, I think surviving R. Kelly really, really did him in.
Yeah, I think it had an impact too, for sure. Yep.
It really took him out the game because I saw all four parts of that, and I want to say one of the people who was in there who was on Surviving R. Kelly actually had to take the stand to testify to what they saw when they talked about Aaliyah. They took it all the way back to Aaliyah in the courtroom, bruh.
He get what he get. He get what he get. I ain't got no sympathy for him.
With the documented evidence against R. Kelly, it's hard to have sympathy for him. I had a little bit of sympathy for Bill Cosby because, he trusted in the system to make sure that he wouldn't have to face any responsibility because he gave that up to get out the cash, right? So people should be suspicious when prosecutors pull that type of game that they pulled on Bill Cosby. But in terms of R. Kelly, it's really, 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 really difficult for him to overcome that whole documentary. We didn't have no like that with Bill Cosby. Look at Epstein. Epstein's gone. They gonna try to ring up his girlfriend, his ringleader.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows in some cases, it's a big deal to some people, depending upon who you are. But the white guy was able to kill himself in prison. How did that happen? Think about how the system worked for this white guy that's running away from that white girl. I forget her name, but how the white guy was able to go home and still go disappear before the FBI caught up with him. Like they're talking about, they calling off the search for him. Like there should be all points bulletin for this guy out here.
True
that killed that woman. You know what I'm saying? But they've doubted that completely. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. But the reality is, you see things happen, and like you said, some of this about the complexion, but other times the circumstance too. Like white folks get breaks like that. They can just go back to the crib after they killed their girlfriend and then bounce and never be heard from again. But R. Kelly, they caught him real quick. And they even had a documentary. Well, I don't know if it was celebrated. Surviving R. Kelly could be, to a degree, celebration of what he was doing.
Celebration? Nah, it was an indictment.
Well, it caught up with it. But, to put that on TV for public consumption.
It's on R. Kelly. It's on Netflix right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's on Netflix right now.
People should watch it. People should watch it. I think, yeah, well, I've already seen it. It really poisoned the jury pool. He wasn't going to get a fair shot no matter what after that. Even if he had even some type of defense. You see what I'm saying? So, it's just, you just see the different things. People should be suspicious. I think that's definitely what people should be on. They should be looking at all these cases and looking at the little details and how they were treated, But, I can't sit here and say I got sympathy for R. Kelly. I don't. Bill Cosby, I got sympathy for him in regards to going to prison because of how he was treated, But Epstein probably got off the bat because he ain't even here no more.
Bill Cosby should be in jail right now. He's a creep and a predator, and he got out on a technicality. And yeah, you're right about the deal, but you know what? Nobody forced him to testify in a civil trial. And Obviously he said some things and came out of his mouth that came back to bite him. If he wasn't doing anything wrong, then no matter what he said in a civil trial couldn't have came back to bite him in a criminal trial. So it all worked out. He deserved to spend more time in jail, but he got on the technicality, and that's how the system works. It is what it is.
Well, you know, the civil thing is different. Like, a lot of times when people be compelled to testify in the civil trial, like he did a death. It wasn't like he did it voluntarily. That wasn't voluntary. He was in a lawsuit. Usually, you know, people like that in a lawsuit, you usually have to give some testimony. You usually have to give up a deposition. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. There's little differences like that. It's like what people should look at.
He had control over what came out of his mouth. He didn't have to say things that would cook his goose, but he did.
Well, he had to tell the truth. He had to tell the truth.
Right. So he told the truth, and the truth was that he's a creep, and it came back to bite him. Simply, I have no sympathy for Bill Cosby. He needs to still be in jail. He got exactly what he deserved. In fact, he deserved more time, quite honestly. But he got on the technicality. That's how the system works. It is what it is.
Well, see, but now you double talking though, Conrad.
No, I'm not double talking
you're saying,
at all.
like, well, kinda. I mean, because you're saying the system,
so?
people should be suspicious of the system, because you're saying that people should be suspicious of the system, which I agree with.
What I said was I understand black people's suspicions of the system that is justified. You know what I'm saying? I had to put that out as a caveat as we had this conversation because it's a real thing.
Okay, but then you turn around and say, well, then Bill Cosby got what he deserved. No, he didn't.
Bill Cosby got exactly what he deserved. Yes, he did. He was guilty. He was guilty based on what? He was guilty by his own, wait a minute. He was guilty by his own testimony in the civil trial. That's what cooked his goose in the criminal trial. It was his own words.
He was compelled to do that, and in exchange for doing that, there wasn't going to be no criminal charge.
Exactly.
So now you're saying that now it's justified.
Exactly. You're right. And that's why I said he got what he deserved. No matter what he was compelled to do or say, when he opened his mouth and started speaking his truth, it indicted him. And that's what cooked his goose in the criminal trial. If he had done nothing wrong, then no matter what he said in the civil trial could not have been used against him in a criminal trial. But the fact that there was an agreement that the prosecutors went back on, and really was a whole new prosecution team, he got on the technicality. So that's the way the American so-called judicial system or justice system works. He got out. But he did it.
I'm just saying, yeah, either you're going to be suspicious of the system, or you're going to cooperate with the system. You know, you can't. Yeah, I don't know if you can do both.
It's both. Black people do it every single day. Black people go to American justice system and cooperate because they're compelled to do so, while at the same time they're suspicious of it. What you mean? It's not either or, it's both. That's the duality of the black experience dealing with the American judicial system.
Look, all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying Bill Cosby didn't do that shit. He said he did that shit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take him at his word. However, though, no, it's not in the story.
End of story.
But when the government tells me, if you say this, I ain't gonna do nothing to you, because it ain't about the prosecutor team coming in and out. It's about that actual office of the prosecutor. They didn't hold to the deal. That's what I'm saying. He got mistreated in that regard.
He didn't get mistreated.
I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't get mistreated. He did not get mistreated, bro. You making excuses for a pedophile. Bill Cosby's actions Bill Cosby's actions put him in that situation. His actions did that. And so everybody knows that when you're dealing with the American so-called justice system, when you get down there, anything can happen. That's why most of us don't want to go down there, whether we're guilty or not guilty. Bill Cosby's actions put him down there. So when things go bad, oh well, buddy. Next time, don't slip stuff into women's drinks and sexually assault them, and you won't have to go down there, and you may not be the victim of some kind of injustice. Keep your nails clean. Like I said, ain't nobody alleging Jamie Foxx did that. Ain't nobody saying about Nick Cannon, and he loved women. So
at the end of the day, but you agree, it was unjust though. It was totally unjust.
It wasn't unjust. He got what he deserved. He deserved to do more time, and then he deserved to get out because of the technicality and what the prosecution did. That's the way the world goes.
All right, comrade, take it easy.
Hey, take it easy. Yeah, stop making excuses for Bill Cosby, man. It's the same thing people gonna be doing about R. Kelly. I ain't even listening to no other shows. I already know it. I already can hear it. People gonna be making excuses. Well, and they're gonna be using Bill Cosby. Well, look at what happened to Bill Cosby. F Bill Cosby. He need to burn in hell too. See, one thing about me, I am not for the exploitation of nobody. I ain't with it. I don't care who you are. Don't make let that shit happen to Denzel. He gonna be on the list. He get what he get. It don't matter. There's nobody in the world who don't deserve punishment for their own actions. He getting what he deserved. And Black Russia calling him making excuses for Bill Cosby. I can't have it. No. That's the reason why people like you and me keep our nose clean. We don't want to go down to the Hamilton County Courthouse for no reasons. Because when you get down there, dumb shit happens. Anything can happen. That's why we stay the hell out. That's why we follow the laws and we don't put date rape drugs in women's drinks, which is some old coward, weak ass simp-ish anyway. What kind of man has to do that to sleep with a woman? All these women out here, some weak ass ish. And you Bill Cosby. He did that because he liked to prey on women. It was like a control thing, a power thing, some old sicko ish. So he got what he deserved, period. And it appears that R. Kelly is getting what he deserved, guilty on all charges. Which, I was reading a lot of the pre-trial conversation, man, and people were a little bit shaky about whether this whole racketeering angle was going to really stick with Bill Cosby, but apparently it did. It sticks. He's getting what he gets. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hi, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Welcome.
It's kind of odd talking to you in the evening,
yeah.
But it's still old school Mondays in the chop shop. I was able to catch you. I didn't really talk to you this morning because they were saying some whack shit, and I really wanted to chime in, but I was busy. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Right. But as far as this R. Kelly, you knew he was going to jail. I mean, like you said, you didn't have to follow the trial. The updates you were getting said, damn, bro. Every time you heard something, it was like Tiger King. It was like, everything was worse than the time before than what you heard last. Like, what the hell? What's this guy's problem? But not only does he is he a criminal, but he does have a real problem that needs help too. Because I mean, his lust for children like that is something else. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need an exorcism or something. I don't know where you got that from. Boys and girls. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but I personally think he'll be dead in 6 months. Because I'll tell you this why. Because to bring up another child molesting issue, when Joe Paterno, the football coach for Penn State, the former football coach, when he got removed from Penn State, over a child sex scandal with one of his coaches, when he got removed from Penn State, it was like he's going to die because that's all he lived for was Penn State. He'll be dead soon, and that was taken away from him. R. Kelly seemed to live for, sleeping with children, the sex, the power. He seemed to live for that. And now that he know it ain't coming back ever, while he's waiting on trial, there's still that hope. But now he knows it's not coming back ever. It's going to crush his heart. He'll be dead soon. And not from an inmate jacking him up. He'll just die. Because all that he lusted for is gone, and he knows it ain't coming back. And that's what I'm predicting. But also to kind of parlay from this morning show, something you said tonight, words matter. And you actually said this evening before my brethren just called, you said R. Kelly broke in Aaliyah, referring to her into the music business. Yeah. Words matter. There's a better choice of words in there than R. Kelly broke Aaliyah in. She was 15 and married to this old prick.
Yeah, stop
projecting. See what I'm saying?
Take your mind out the gutter.
No,
I was talking
not
about breaking her into the music.
No, I'm
industry.
not taking my mind out the gutter.
Take your mind out the gutter, brother. You're projecting your prurient and your gutter thoughts into what I said. I said what I said, and that's how I wanted to say it. Period.
or I'm an avid listener and I pay attention to every word.
No,
because words matter.
No, and you're an avid listener, and you're also projecting your thoughts into what I said. It's not or, it's and.
Absolutely not. But hey, it's too late in the evening to argue. It's been real.
It's
I had
perfect time
fun.
to argue.
You know, choose your words a little bit more carefully.
Damn it,
We're talking about a teenage girl.
I said what I said. I meant what I said.
I know you did, but I just think you being a wordsmith on a talk show could have chosen the better phrase.
And I think you being an intelligent black man can stop projecting your gutter thoughts into what I said. That's what I'm not responsible for your projection. Stop it. Anything else?
I'm not projecting.
You are
That's
projecting.
What I heard.
You're projecting.
Okay, well, hey, it's been real. I had fun. We'll talk in the morning. Be easy.
Be easy, brother. Appreciate you, caller. Stop projecting. Stop it. So now I'm responsible for your gutter thoughts. No, brother. I'm not responsible for that. So good evening. You're just tuning in, man. It's real. R. Kelly is looks like he's facing life in prison. Life in prison. Found guilty on all charges. Racketeering, sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, sexual exploitation of a child, and violation of the Mann Act, which is a federal law that criminalizes the transportation of any woman or girl for the purposes of prostitution or debauchery or for any other immoral purpose. Whose morality are we talking about here? Let's go back to the phones. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Peace. What's up? My brother Nate, your boy Vince Pass in the building.
Hey, what up, Vince, man? Good to hear from you, bro. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. You know, I had to sit back and been reading a lot of the news reports about R. Kelly, you know, and his verdict. First thing, you know, it's a sad day, not just for the fact that him being everybody has lost. The young girls have lost. The young men have lost. He lost. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of things that have happened. You know what I'm saying? He has some mental health issues. His hurt caused more hurt. So it's a lot of things that have taken place. You know, do I think he deserves it? I mean, listen, you got in trouble, bro. You did the crime, do the time. It's what it is. You know what I mean? I won't say that he don't deserve to go to jail for whatever he has done. He did it. Boom, based on the court of law, judged by 12. It's what it is. A lot of people are very emotional about this thing right now, and I just would like for everyone to be clear about something, that we cannot split hairs with this. We can't take his fame and measure that against the activity in which he has created over the last 20 years. Okay, from the time he got into the industry up until now. So when people were wondering if this RICO Act thing was going to stick with him, I was one of the people looking at that and saying, how are they going to stick the RICO Act? But then as I began to really pay attention to how much money was being put out there, how much time, how much influence, how much threats that were going on, of exposure, things like that. I'm like, yo, that's RICO. You feel what I'm saying? That's RICO activity. You know, racketeering, bribery, you know, tampering with evidence, you know, threatening witnesses. You know, all that falls up under the RICO Act. And so I need for people to understand, like, yo, listen, before we get on these tangents, we need to do our homework. We need to understand, when the federal government comes after you, you better know one thing. They have everything locked and barreled and sealed, and they're coming for you. And when they get you, they got you. They're not playing with you. They're not wasting time with you. So when they said they was coming to get R. Kelly, they was like, yo, enough is enough. So, you know, R got convicted today. You know, well, you know, it's what it is. Bill Cosby, I agree, brother. Yes, he should still be in jail right now. And yes, he got out on what? Technicality. Exactly what it was. You know, something that he said came back to bite him in the butt. And even though they wasn't supposed to use that against him, they messed up. They started reaching. They was like, okay, We got him here, so let me go ahead and reach there. Let's see if we can buy our time with this. Well, somebody said nope. We gotta let him out. That did him wrong. We didn't follow due process, and it is what it is. He's out. So I say that to say this, Nate. And I'm not jumping on no bandwagon with it or anything. I look at it, it's a black eye on us as being black people continuously. Every time we get up this, we start going up this hill. It's something that's so crazy that begins to knock us back down. And the sad part about it is we get grouped into all this stuff, and we don't even have to have anything to do with it. We're grouped. We automatically now it's going to be jokes like, oh, maybe you're doing what the R. Kelly has done, or maybe you're doing what Bill Cosby's done. It's going to be some jokes. It's going to be things like that just put out there. You know what I mean? The fires that I care about right now that we need to be worried about putting out is the things that's happening in present. You know what I'm saying? We have to begin to focus our minds on the things that's happening in the present. He got to do the crime. He did the crime, do the time. Whether he lives or dies, that's going to be totally up to him at this point. The only thing we can really do is just say prayers for him. Listen, get the help that you need. Turn your life around some type of way, whether you be sitting in there or wherever they're going to put you. However, you got to find a way to turn it around for yourself. I just wish him well. I don't wish no death on him. I wish the families that were affected by him, I wish healing on them. And, I wish the people that's even today that have been affected by his case may not have nothing directly to do with him, but have had some type of abuse or sexual impropriety that may have been done to them. I wish healing for them as well. So, that's my take on things tonight, brother.
All right, Vince, thanks for the flows, man. Appreciate it.
Man, you have a great evening, Nate.
You too. That's Vince Pass. Right. Check him out. He's got a podcast, man. You can check him out on Facebook. Man. So, yeah, I tend to believe the victims. I stand with the victims, man. Like a lot of people automatically assume that when somebody comes forward that they're lying or there's some kind of motivation. And of course, we know that happens. I didn't believe all of the Bill Cosby accusers, and some of the ones I didn't believe ended up recanting their stories. It was kind of like a piling on type of thing. People was like, oh, we about to get this money. Like, what's her name? Angie Dickinson and other people like that. I never believed them from the beginning, but I didn't disbelieve all of them. I thought that some of them telling the truth. And it's the same thing with R. Kelly. I mean, where there's smoke with fire. And I tend to believe the more and more I would watch the trial, and even when I didn't watch it, it was reported on a regular basis. You got the Black News Channel. They did a good job of breaking it down and following it on YouTube. So I was following a lot of their coverage and using that to stay up on it. And it looked bad for Buddy. It looked real bad for him, like he was on his way to jail. So am I surprised of the verdict? No, I'm not surprised. But I want to get your thoughts this evening, not this morning. I'm so programmed to say this morning. I want to know, what's your reaction? Do you think that justice has now been served? Looks like R. Kelly is going away for a long time, if not for life. Do you believe that there was a conspiracy to get R. Kelly? Is there a larger conspiracy? Is this somehow, in your opinion, connected to Bill Cosby? Is there a larger conspiracy to bring down powerful black men? I want to get your thoughts about it. Was just going to the phone. Somebody called me with an 815 number. Call me back. I'll put you straight on. I'll try to put you straight on. TNT said a mouthful right here. Great flows. Great flows. Angela writes, well, the powerful men better keep their ish together and don't abuse anyone, and they don't have to worry about it. You got to worry about it a lot less. But being a black man, especially when you elevate it in this country, it makes you a target. We already know that. Jay writes, he got what he deserves. Mildred writes, he's been trifling since the 90s, and people didn't say anything when he married Aaliyah. He is not a victim. He was not about to come out with anything impactful because he had like 30 years to do that. Wanda writes, makes me think R. Kelly. I think I read it already. Floyd writes, not one young girls, not one rape charge, guilty of pimping. You can't keep saying the word young. Tay writes, they were young. Some of them were young when it happened. Some of them were underage when it happened. To me, underage is the same as young, especially with the age I am now. Floyd writes, racketeering, forced labor, trafficking, time served. Verdon writes, he's getting exactly what he deserves. I still believe the parents had a lot to do with basically giving their kid to R. Kelly, so don't drop the soap. Katrina writes, he is in federal lockup. He still faces state charges in Illinois. Is that right? Maxine writes, no matter how fast the minor is, the law says it's called statutory rape, pedophilia, and predatory. Stacy writes, yes, victim of his own ego. Good assessment, Nate. Some people get caught up in their ego. They think they're bigger. They're bigger than the law, especially when they're abusing black people, because the media and law enforcement has a history of not giving the same attention and responding as forcefully when it's a black victim. We just had this conversation. I forget the young girl's name. They found her body, condolences to her and her family. But there was a big conversation about how when black girls go missing or black people go missing, it don't get on CNN. It's not on all the big networks. It's the same thing when black girls and black women have been victimized. It's a whole lot of unsolved crimes out there because nobody gives a damn. And so predators are smart. They want to get away with it. Who's a better person to victimize in America than a black person, a black woman? The best victim you can choose. Because depending on the nature of law enforcement, they may or may not give a damn. History tells us. I'm speaking generally. I'm speaking historically, but these are facts. These are facts. Renee writes, and there are still several indictments in other states. Angela writes, where were the parents of these girls? There's no way my 16-year-old girl was going to go leave town and I didn't know it. Same here. Brian writes, good evening. Hey, what's up, Brian? Good to see you, brother. Anthony writes, like and share. Dan writes, damn fool, in the end, a classical case of masturbation. He effed himself. Bye-bye. Jerome writes, hello, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning, or should I say good evening? Got to keep saying good evening. Diane writes, good evening, family. Hey, good to see you, Diane. Moxzilla, is that what? Knoxzilla. Life Morales writes, R. Kelly was not working alone. There were more to this, really. Now, we already know that there is an underground that exists, and the currency is flesh. Humans, human beings being sold into slavery, modern day sex slavery. We already know it. And I think it's real connected. People brought up the Catholic Church and other situations. I mean, this is huge. You know what I'm saying? But right now we talking about R. Kelly, but I acknowledge there's a larger, grander black market undercurrent that exists, right? Right outside the view of, civilians like you and me. Like you and I, we civilians. We law-abiding folks. We don't want no smoke with the man at all. But beneath the surface, maybe we call it the soft white underbelly, there exists a whole nother reality that most of us have no idea about. And from time to time, via media, we might get a snippet here or there about what's really going on. And on some levels, R. Kelly was a part of it. Floyd writes, y'all silly as hell. Ain't no such thing as a federal rape charge. He raped no one, just pimping. Deborah writes, hey, Nathan Ivy, how did training women work out for R. Kelly? I can't even respond to that. Jerome writes, I want more people to go to jail. He didn't do this by himself. Angela writes, white privilege in America, KKK is what it is. Kendall writes, he's never getting out. Nakia writes, he is guilty, Black Russia. Yes, he is. Nakia writes, yes, I said Bill Cosby didn't get a pass either. Tanika writes, hey, Nate and Choppers, good evening to you. Dan writes, yup, Bill should be in prison. TNT writes, guilty, and guilty. Yeah. I mean, today's show ain't really about Bill Cosby but I understand it because, high profile black man, similar types of charges involving the sexual, predatory practices on women. Right. But I stopped effing with Bill Cosby a long time ago. I mean, again, I'll say like I said, right now, you Google it. R. Kelly fans are streaming his music. Bring it up. I'm going to send you a link so you can check it out for yourself. They're streaming his music in some type of protest about, I don't know what they think they're doing. Variety magazine has a title here, headline: Should R. Kelly music be banned? Should his music be banned from streaming platforms like Spotify? That's what the question is right now. I guess that'd be up to Spotify. Like, I won't know either way, pardon me, because I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. So if they ban him or don't ban him, I'll never know because I don't search for it. But that's what the conversation is right now. I mean, this was posted 1 hour ago from Variety. Should R. Kelly's music be banned? That's my question for you. Should R. Kelly's music be banned from streaming sites? And I don't know what the history of this is. I mean, I'm sure there were other high-profile people in the music industry that went to jail for rape or predatory charges or something like that. Did they ban their music? I don't know. I don't know. For a little while, they banned The Cosby Show. You couldn't even get The Cosby Show on some streaming sites. They said they were not going to do it because they didn't want to be in any way connected to the image of Bill Cosby. How far are we going to take this? How far are we going to take this? Mildred writes, he admitted it. Right, Mildred, he admitted it. I've been saying it for the longest with Bill Cosby. He admitted it. All that technicality stuff, they only got you because you said something incriminating. If you didn't say anything incriminating, meaning you didn't do something wrong, you never would have got caught up. Simple as that. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nate, how's it going this evening?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Who am I speaking with?
Excellent. This is Chris.
What up, Chris?
Called in about a couple things, and I don't want to get on the Bill Cosby thing, but as I see it, he did wrong. He did his time, and everybody's talking about the technicality, but I look at it as why everybody's talking about that technicality. He actually could have got out in the same time if the parole board allowed it, if it wasn't, because he had 3 to 10 years. So he was actually up for parole that same year, and it was denied. But so he served his time. I mean, we could all say he deserved more time, but technically, by law, I mean, he did his 3 years out of the 10. Correct?
I don't hold me 100% on this, but I believe you're correct. He did come up for parole, but I think he was denied because he wouldn't admit his guilt. And they wanted him to take some classes. He wouldn't take the classes. He was completely on some I didn't do nothing type ish.
Well, and not defending him at all, not defending what he did, but I'm not going to defend if I know what I did was, I did it. It was wrong, but this is what I was told on the technicality part. I'm not going to do that. So, granted, if he'd have been paroled, then we wouldn't be talking about this because he'd still be registered sex offender and he'll be on parole. And unless they'll be fighting just to get him off the sex offender's list.
But Chris, real quick though, Chris, I think that's the reason why Bill Cosby was so unwilling to admit his guilt is because he knew his lawyers was working on a way for him to get out on a technicality. So he just played the odds. Something tells me that if he didn't know he had this technicality route, he would have admitted his guilt and been taking these classes and trying to rehabilitate himself. So he could have got parole. So he was just playing. He was just playing the best hand.
I think honestly, with that kind of wealth and from what I read about Bill Cosby, he still would have been as cocky and he still would have went the same route. I think so.
I don't think so at all. I don't think so. I think he knew his lawyers had a good shot. His lawyers are probably telling him, keep your head down, stay positive. This is going to work. We're going to get you out. So he just played the best hand. If he didn't have that out, he would have played the other best hand, which was the parole hand. That's what I think.
Yeah. Okay. And about the Spotify, no. I mean, I would say I'm torn because my favorite singer, may she rest in peace, is Whitney Houston, and he wrote one of her songs. One of my, it's in my top 5 favorites. I Look to You. So if they stop playing R. Kelly's songs, are they talking about what G just sings on, or all the songs that he wrote? Because he wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people.
I would say we start with the songs that he wrote, he sung on.
Okay. But and then that just opens it up for every song that he wrote. The even music that was behind it. I mean, if you put the music behind it, his name's on there somehow, some way. Are we taking everything away, or are we just taking like just the songs that he sung on, Found Out, and whatever? Because that's a whole lot.
I would say all his sex music. Start there. All his sex music, we ban all of that.
Okay.
Anything that he was the primary artist that's like of a sexual nature, we ban that. I'm saying if you're gonna ban anything,
right?
Start there.
I follow you.
Do you listen to R? Will you be listening to R. Kelly moving forward? Keep it real with me, Chris. Keep it real.
I really didn't listen to R. Kelly. I really didn't care for R. Kelly before. I mean, there's a couple of his songs that I like. I Believe I Can Fly. That's really the only one that I think that I've heard multiple times and I appreciate. So no, I don't listen to R. Kelly. He's not in my repertoire of music at all.
Okay. All right.
So it doesn't. I'm like you. It doesn't faze me after seeing everything. And I'm not that diehard fan. Like you say, people out there playing his music, doing this, or downloading his music, whatever. That's not me. But my like I said, my artist who I like, you know what? She did her dirt, but she did her dirt to herself. It wasn't harming technically, it wasn't harming anybody else but her. If that makes any sense at all.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I still listen to Whitney every day, but I paid Whitney to entertain me because that's what she was. She wasn't, doing that nasty stuff that he was doing. No. Even if I was R. Kelly fan, I wouldn't listen to it. So no. Answer your question. No.
All right, Chris. Thanks for the call, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you. That's Chris checking in. Yeah, I gotta do more of this, man. Late night style. Any man that's out here caping for R. Kelly is suspect. Tell you off the top, suspect. Any man run around here making excuses, and I say man because I'm a man, so I speak to and about men. Any man run around here making excuses, but what about this? It's suspect. I wouldn't trust him alone in my house. Suspect. Because this is real simple. You know what I'm saying? Even before the guilty video. Like I said, I started effing with R. Kelly when I saw the urination video. And I'm like, damn. Stop right then. I ain't buying nothing else. Stop listening to it. Don't promote it. Don't matter what it is. I can't be associated like that because I got a certain standard. You know what I'm saying? You got to stand for something. But that's just me. I'm not saying that you have to be like me. I'm just telling you how I am. So you know who you listening to, who you watching. Monique writes, Bill Cosby should be in jail right now, period. I'm going to close the show down here in a couple of minutes, but I want to read some more comments. I only want to come with you for an hour. Bertha writes, he has been messing with young girls forever. It all just caught up with him. He just thought because he had money, he thought he had the power to be anything, and I hope they stick it to him. Also, he was abusing black folks. And so if you're a predator and you want to get away with it, then all you got to do is choose black people as victims. And America's racist systems will do the rest for you. It's that real ish, right? Keebler writes, and Cosby was probably too damn arrogant to listen to his legal team because during a disposition, your attorney is sitting right beside you. Cosby played the best hand. He knew what he had going on. Bertha writes, him talking must not have no kids or just don't care because he's defending them. Angela writes, I can't understand how you have children and you defend in any way make excuses for a pedophile. Okay, they went back to R. Kelly and Aaliyah. So what about all the white men that have raped black women? So we need to go around and round their white asses up. Well, let's start it. Let's do it. I mean, to me, I'm consistent across the board. White, black, Indian, Asian. If you're a pedophile, and you deserve to get dealt with. If I read that R. Kelly gets his skull bashed in prison, I ain't gonna have no tears. No tears, no emotion. That's what happens. Regina writes, what the hell? Did you bump your head? Mildred writes, and don't make Spanish fly jokes about your albums. He told that joke in the 60s. Right. I remember as a kid listening. I used to fall asleep listening to Bill Cosby records. And I remember him telling the Spanish fly joke. And I remember as a kid not fully understanding. This was before I was even right before I was sexually active. And then right after I was sexually active. I'm like, what is Spanish fly? I just didn't understand it. I was uncomfortable even then. Audrey writes, sadly, black culture, especially family, turns their back and blames the girls, saying they were fast. There's no way a grown man, 5 to 10 years, a little girl senior, who is a minor, still be touching on her. How is that her fault? It's not. But society shuns her and not him. It's not right. I'm with you 100%, Audra. Nakia writes, well, I don't know, Nate. If Denzel raised somebody, they probably won't call the police. See, yes, the hell they will. Yes, they will. I know you joking, Nakia, but let me see here. Darren writes, stop defending our celebrity criminals. They deserve what any of us would get. These clowns have enough money to legally have as many women as they want. The illegality of their actions is weak. Deborah writes, any man who talks about training women is a creep. Hint, hint. It happens from time to time when I deliver flows and then it touches people and they just can't let it go. And that's what's happened with Deborah. And Deborah, what the saddest thing, Deborah, is you missing the point. You missed the whole point. Kendall writes, okay, too soon, but you got a point. Monique writes, all these men and women agreeing with the shenanigans need to take their ass to jail too. Lock all these fools up. I'm sick of y'all. Put them fools under the jail expeditiously. Akeem writes, busting all nighter, Nathan Ivy. Nah, it won't be tonight. Katrina writes, y'all, you don't want to go down in front of a U.S. federal judge. Brian writes, you get what you get and don't throw a fit. Deborah writes, I guess I better go finish dessert. My kids are like, I thought you were listening to him in the morning. Angela writes, Bill Cosby turned his back on black people and always tried to act like he couldn't be touched. But Bill Cosby found out he wasn't white and they got his ass for drugging them white women. I laugh because it's true. Rachel writes, I'm agreeing with Fame about R. Kelly. What did he say again? I can't remember what he said. What did Fame say about R. Kelly? I can't remember. Kendall writes, he did that more than he did. Wait, he did that more than he made music. Oh, about the phrase broke in. No, that's a phrase that people say all the time about breaking into the music industry. The fact that somebody wants to project their gutter thoughts into it don't stop what I say. You change your mentality, change your thoughts about it. That's what you mean. People say words matter. Words do matter. I said exactly what I wanted to say, and I meant it. Yes, and I'll say it again. There were a lot of young girls who were probably drawn to R. Kelly because they looked at him as breaking Aaliyah into the entertainment industry, which is exactly what he did. And so R. Kelly tried to probably use that as a bait to lure them in. And you're a young person, you not even of age. Your eyes are wide open. You looking at this big old scar. He big time star, bigger than life. You think he might help you, and he ends up preying upon you, and that's wrong. So that's what I said, and I meant it. So stop projecting your negative thoughts into what I said. Let me see. Audrey writes, she felt the same thing. That's on you. Change your thinking. That goes for anybody. Change your thinking. The way you think about something you project is not my fault. I'm not going to stop what I say because somebody projects some thoughts into it. Do better. Get your mind out the gutter. Let me see. TNT writes, when you talk about a special place of hell, boy, oh boy, it was sickening with Aaliyah and how you manipulated her. But the people on the tour bus who caught him having sex with her and didn't say anything are guilty as well. # protect black women. They was probably scared. R. Kelly's a big time superstar. You probably looking at him like he gonna help you in some way in the industry, in the business. And so it's like, well, do I say something and cook my own goose, or do I keep my mouth closed and that's their business? You know what I'm saying? I'm built a little differently. See, Deborah writes, he was done when he started hollering at Gayle King. You know what, Deborah? I almost forgot that. I forgot that. Yeah, he did get very emotional. Yeah, that was hilarious. Kim writes, definitely a sad day for R. Kelly to be the poster child for crimes so many colonizers with power have gotten away with for years. I ain't sad. In fact, if I was connecting with the victims, today's a happy day because we got our justice. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel sad for R. Kelly. I feel sad for the victims. I wish that this had never happened to them and this day would never come. In terms of the colonizers, I mean, I hear you, but it really don't really have no place in this. Like, I'm supposed to give R. Kelly a pass because of the history of colonizers. It don't work that way. That's not the way the world works. You know what I'm saying? The colonizers deserve their day, but that day is long gone. Right here, right now, if you out here abusing people, you're going to get your day and you get what you deserve. You know? Natty writes, it's over for him. Yes, it is. Ebony writes, Adonis Roberts Berry. Deborah writes, are we emotional about R. Kelly? LOL. He had it coming. He trashed his entire body of work by his actions. His good riddance. Mildred writes, I don't see him as a poster child of anything. I see his chickens coming home to roost like Malcolm said. This is on him. I agree. This is on him. Clifford writes, one name, Hugh Hefner. Nothing ever happened to him. Yeah, but I mean, what was supposed to happen to him? Was he ever accused of anything? I don't remember that. I don't understand whatever happened. You know, Hugh played his game. He played his cards in this game different than R. Kelly did. So he didn't get caught, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember him being up on charges similar to R. Kelly at all. Ebony writes, I just don't understand why these rich ass people be so bored they turn to ish like this. He could have damn near anybody he wanted, right? Because Ebony, it's not about sex. It's about power. Same thing with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, even at his old age, he could have had a lot of women out here. I'm not gonna say he could have any woman he wanted, but he could have had a lot of women that would have jumped in bed and gave it to him. Did anything he wanted. Some of these predators, they want to be in control. They want to take it. They want to be in control of you. It's a power thing. Remember, rape is about power, not about sex. It's about power, not about sex. Somebody writes, greetings from Russia on YouTube. Jen writes, come on, Nathan. Come on, man. He's a pedophile and sexual predator. A lot of things are race related, but this was caused because R. Kelly has been abusing women for decades, and we all just turned a blind eye because we loved him and his music, and his actions have caught up. Not me. Man, I've been saying the same thing about R. Kelly ever since I seen that urination tape. Same thing. This ain't new to me. I've been saying this for over a decade. Whenever his name came up, I don't F with R. Kelly. The world just caught up to us. Just caught up to me. My flow has been consistent. I don't F with R. Kelly, man, period. And nobody like him. For me, I didn't need the trial. The trial is just vindication for what I've been thinking for years. I remember being in commercial radio and telling the producers, the guys that would play the music, operate the board, don't play no R. Kelly. Not on my show. I don't want to be associated with it. So this ain't new for me. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I ain't alone in that. You got some people that care so much about music and dancing and shucking and jiving. You got some black folks that care so much about shucking and jiving to some music that they don't care what the circumstances are. They don't really care because they want to dance and shuck and jive and all this kind of nonsense. I'm not that black man. That's just not me. Aaliyah writes, good evening, all. Good evening to you. Hey, listen, folks, with that, I'm going to go ahead and tap out. I really appreciate everybody. Check out the flows in the morning. I'll have all the up-to-date information about as it relates to R. Kelly and his trial and everything that's happened. I'll be following this tomorrow morning. Have an excellent rest of your evening. We'll catch up tomorrow morning, bright and early at 7 a.m. Again, I'll have all the latest. And you never know who we'll be talking to. You never know on the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is fleeting the truth, Men are allowed to be men, and sucker MCs get dealt with. Have a great evening, and we'll talk real soon. I'm out.